My wife and I have had a good marriage of 7 years. There have been no serious issues over the time we have been together. We have a 6-year-old son as well. My story begins one night when my wife goes out with her friends for a local winter celebration that happens every year. It is very normal for us to socialize separately, and I was home with the kid. She came home at about 5 a.m., about a half hour before I had to leave for work, and this has been our agreement for a while. Generally, she stays out with her best friend, Emma, and then sleep or just sobers up as much as possible at Emma's apartment before coming home. This has always been an option and she has exercised it a few times a year for the last few years. Our house is quite a drive from where they or I would go out for the night. All this was normal. I got up. I went to work. And I came home. I asked her about her night, and she told me all about it. All the people she saw and hung out with, her timeline, etc. Great. I am glad she got home safe, and I am glad she had fun. We had previously been on vacation on a station resort, and I had brought our little used tablet along on it. I had brought it to read on in lieu of an e-reader since I could also play a couple games on it. The night after she came home from going out, I opened it to continue a game I had begun to play on it. I opened the web browser first to check ESPN, and it went directly to her Facebook messages page, which she had logged in to check on a friend who was house sitting for us. We had a limited internet package at the resort. This is where things took a weird turn. I could see she had messaged a new guy at work named Dale that she had a couple times the message. I had so much fun. I looked at it and couldn't help but to tap it. Here, I discovered an alternate version of her night. There was nothing in the messages immediately alarming in terms of assuming something specific happened. But while were they uncomfortable to read as her husband, my issues in this moment are twofold. 1. I can't say she lied to me, but she misrepresented her night. From their conversation, she quickly lost her long-term work friends, except for Emma, and had spent the night at a second bar with Dale and a couple of Dale's friends. She did mention running into Dale to me, but he was a footnote. From the messaging conversation, I can tell she spent the whole night with him and without the people she had highlighted. 2. Her tone. Every sentence had 3 exclamation points. She told him she had so much fun multiple times. She pushed the conversation when it stalled. He did begin it with a message at 2 a.m. after they separated about a girl that gave my wife a hard time about them hanging out. But from when she woke up at 9 to when I got home at 4 the next day, she pushed the entire conversation consistently. None of this is damning, but it got my attention and stayed in the back of my head for a couple days. I kind of wish I left it there, but I didn't. 2 nights later, I did something I have never even felt compelled to do. After she fell asleep, I grabbed her phone. I knew there wouldn't be anything with him since they were using Facebook, but I was curious about her texts with Emma. I was nervous and didn't feel like I had a lot of time, so I jumped into her conversation with Emma the day after. At first, there was nothing about Dale, but about how a different guy, the first had never heard of, had treated Emma. But then, out of nowhere, Emma asked my wife the following: "Do you think it will be awkward for you with Dale at work tomorrow? He is so touchy-low." My wife answered, "I don't think it will be awkward, but he did message me in the middle of the night to apologize about that girl." They went back to talking about the guy giving Emma. Emma is married to someone else, by the way. No idea who this guy is. Before my wife texted Emma, a picture of them and Dale, with my wife in the middle, face pressed against both of them, and my wife teasing Emma about looking like a different girl in the picture, a girl that had apparently slept with Dale, a fact that they had mocked Dale with. Then my wife said, and I quote, "I can't believe we got 2 guys to kiss." That was all of their conversation about him, but it was enough. Why would work with Dale be awkward? Why did my wife mention the message about the girl, but not about the fact that she had continued to happily and excitedly push the conversation after that? Fuck, what could have happened? Touchy, like he got upset about something, or he was physically all over her. Did she push him away when he got too touchy? And that is why it is awkward. Then why push the conversation with him so hard the next day? Whatever did happen, from how excitedly she was talking to him, she wasn't opposed to it. What then? I sat on this for a couple more days, alternating between trusting her and being uncomfortable. I decided I needed to know more, and I grabbed her phone after she was out cold a few nights later to try to read more. First, I saw there was nothing more between her and Emma about him. So good. I scrolled up to about a month back in their convo and just started reading to make myself feel better, and it worked. Nothing bad about me and only 2 mentions of him. 1, when my wife hired him, and 2, that he had said at work that he felt that my wife and Emma were going out too early that night. Emma's follow-up to that was, low people go out even earlier than we do. So it didn't seem like anything more than a comment about something someone at work said. Then I got back to the stuff I had read originally about their night out, and I decided to read it again. It made me feel the same. But when I got the end, I realized the last line about teasing Dale about the girl he had slept with was gone. Of all of it, why delete that? On accident is all I could figure. On accident when deleting other texts. Earlier that day, I mentioned to my wife that a friend seen her at the second bar. She had largely admitted from her story to me to gauge a reaction. She seemed alarmed, but I pretended I couldn't remember who saw her because no one did, and she dropped it very quickly. It occurred to me then that maybe the missing text I had read previously had been deleted in a purge of tech about my saying that. I got on my mobile account to see what sort of log there was of texting, and I was shocked at what I had found. First, I realized I could see all of her messaging app online just like that. Creepy. I could do this because her number was our primary account holder and the number either of us would use to pay the bill, check for upgrades, or whatever. Second, I could see a text log. I could tell from referencing the text log to her messaging app that she had indeed deleted 12 texts to and from Emma in the time I was worried about. I couldn't find any other texts that were deleted after an hour or so of cross-referencing. At this point, I felt like I was going insane. But I figured I went this far, so might as well see it through. I logged back onto her Facebook. That very day she had sent him a picture of her that she claimed was when she looked better at a much lighter weight. He said she better now and sent her a similar weight loss picture. They had chatted back and forth about that until when I had came home. This was yesterday, and this has been about a week. I am very torn on all of this because I still feel like I can trust her. But I also know fell down a bit of a rabbit hole. And I also know this is largely of my own decision making. I should have never looked at any of this. But I did, and here I am. I am also afraid to confront her. I am both afraid to have been way off base and destroy a good marriage, but I am also afraid to alert her to my suspicion. If I did that, she could either end it without me ever knowing I was cheated on, or continue to pursue it aware that I'm watching. I don't want her to have the upper hand if that is the case, but mostly I want you to tell me I'm being stupid, so I will stop. We have the same friends, so I can't really go to them. Read it. Talk some sense into me, thanks. Wife went out and told me a different story of the night versus what I found happened when I opened my tablet and found she had left herself logged into Messenger on it. I read too much, began snooping, and now I am suspicious. Tell me I am stupid.